Cold rain fell from the dark sky. The forest was silent, too silent. Mud covered the ground like a grave. And in the middle of it lay a small orc girl. Her body was broken. Her green skin was pale. Her breath was weak. And her legs were gone. Only blood remained where they once were. She tried to move. Nothing. Pain shot through her body like fire. She gritted her teeth, trying not to scream. But no one was there to hear her. No one cared. Because her clan had already left. They had stood around her just hours ago. Watching, judging, waiting. And when they saw she could not stand anymore, they turned their backs. In her world, there was only one rule. The weak do not survive. She remembered their faces. Cold. Empty. Like she was already dead. One of them had even said, "She is no longer useful." Useful. That was all she was to them. Not family. Not blood. Just a tool. A fighter. And now broken. So they left her. In the rain. In the mud. 2D. The girl slowly opened her eyes. The sky above her was dark and endless. Rain hit her face again and again. Her body was getting colder. Her hands shook as she tried to grab the ground. Maybe she could crawl. She pulled herself forward. Just a little. Then stopped. Too weak. Too tired. Her strength was fading fast. Her breathing became slower. Her eyes started to close. This is it, she thought. This is how I die. Alone. Forgotten. Like she never existed. A small tear mixed with the rain on her face. Not from fear. Orcs did not fear death. But from something else. Something she did not understand. Maybe. Regret. Then. A sound. Soft. Very soft. A footstep. Her eyes opened again. She forced her head to move. Someone was there. A shadow between the trees. Tall. Not moving fast. Watching. Her heart beat faster. Another orc? No. Something felt different. The shape was wrong. The body was smaller, thinner. The figure stepped closer. Out of the shadows. And then she saw him. A human. Her eyes widened. Humans. She had heard stories. Strange creatures. Weak but clever. Sometimes kind. Sometimes cruel. Unpredictable. Dangerous in ways orcs did not understand. Her body tried to react. To fight. To defend. But she couldn't move. Not even a little. A low growl tried to escape her throat. But it came out as nothing. Just air. The human stopped a few steps away. He looked at her. Really looked at her. Not like her clan did. Not like she was trash. Not like she was already dead. His eyes were calm. Quiet. Studying her wounds. The missing legs. The blood. The mud. The broken body. For a moment, neither of them moved. The rain kept falling. Time fell slow. Heavy. The girl waited. This was it. A human would not help her. No one would. He would either walk away. Or finish her. That would be easier. Faster. Better than this slow death. Her fingers curled slightly. Ready. If he came closer, she would try to attack. Even like this. Even broken. She was still an orc. But the human did something strange. He knelt down. Slowly. Carefully. Like he didn't want to scare her. She blinked. Confused. Why was he doing that? He reached out his hand. She flinched. Her body reacted with fear and anger. But his hand stopped in the air. Not touching her. Just waiting. Then he spoke. His voice was soft. Low. I won't hurt you. The words were simple. But she didn't believe them. Why would she? No one had ever spoken to her like that before. No one had ever needed to. She was a fighter. A weapon. Not someone to protect. The human looked around. Then back at her. His face changed. Not with anger. Not with disgust. But with something else. Something she had never seen before. Something warm. Something gentle. Kindness. The girl didn't understand it. Her world had no place for it. Kindness was weakness. Kindness got you killed. But this human was still alive. And he was looking at her like she mattered. Like she was not just a broken thing in the mud. Her breathing became uneven. Her thoughts were confused. Why, her mind asked. Why is he still here? Why is he not leaving? Why is he not killing me? The human moved closer. Slowly. Carefully. And before she could react, he lifted her. Her eyes widened in shock. His arms were strong. Steady. He held her like she was fragile. Like she could break even more. She tried to resist. But her body had no strength left. Her head fell against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat. Calm, steady, alive. The rain felt colder now, but his body was warm. For the first time since she fell, she felt something change. Not pain, not fear. Something new, something strange, something she had never felt before. Hope. Her eyes slowly closed. Not from death this time, but from exhaustion, from relief, from something she could not explain. As darkness took her, one question stayed in her mind. Why would a human save her, when even her own kind left her to die? Fire the human carried her through the forest like she weighed nothing, yet she could feel the effort in his arms. Every drop of rain that hit her face seemed colder, harsher, but inside his coat, the warmth was strange, comforting. She had never felt warmth like this, not from fire, not from another orc, not from anything. He placed her gently on the floor of a small wooden hut, hidden between thick trees. Smoke curled from a tiny chimney, and the smell of firewood made her dizzy. She blinked slowly. The room was simple, just a fire, a wooden table, and some shelves. Nothing fancy, nothing like her clan's stone halls. But it was safe. That was enough. The human knelt in front of her. His eyes scanned her wounds, the missing legs, the mud and blood. Then he smiled, a strange, calm smile. "Stay alive," he said softly. She tried to speak, tried to growl like she always would, but her voice was weak. Only a tiny rasp came out. She wanted to scream at him, wanted to tell him he didn't understand. Humans were dangerous. Humans killed orcs. They didn't save them. But he didn't attack. He didn't demand anything. He didn't even flinch when she shivered from pain. Instead, he cleaned her wounds with careful hands. Her growls and cries did nothing to stop him. He hummed a soft tune, something low and calming. While he worked, the sound made her angry and confused. Why would he hum? Why would he care? Days passed. The human stayed by her side. He fed her small portions of food, warm soup that burned her tongue but filled her stomach. He carried her to the fire each night. Sometimes he just sat silently, staring at her, as if he was studying her soul. She watched him. Every movement, every blink, every small gesture. Orcs were cunning. They always looked for weakness, always expected betrayal. But he never betrayed her, never asked for anything. Not a favor, not her loyalty, not even a word in return. And then, he did something she never expected. He disappeared for a few hours and returned with two strange wooden objects. They were long, smooth, and carved with care. He placed them in front of her and gestured. "Try," he said simply. She stared. Her heart pounded. Wooden legs? How could she walk with these? How could anything replace the legs she lost? She shook her head. She wanted to refuse. She wanted to lie down and accept death. But there was something in his eyes, something different from her clan, from everyone she had ever known. He was not leaving. Not until she tried. She lifted one wooden leg. It felt heavy, awkward, wrong. She fell immediately. Pain shot through her stumps. She screamed, but he didn't shout. He just nodded. "Again," he said. She tried again. Fell. Screamed. Growled. But each time he stayed. Each time, he did not scold her, did not walk away. Hours passed. Maybe days. She lost count. Pain became familiar. Anger became fuel. And then, slowly, she rose on her own. Not perfectly, not gracefully, but she stood. The wooden leg shook. She almost fell again, but she didn't. She was standing. Something inside her stirred, a feeling she couldn't name. Strength? Pride? Or something even stranger. Trust. For the first time in her life, she realized she was not alone. Not abandoned. Not useless. But her mind refused to accept it fully. Humans were unpredictable. Kindness could hide danger. She stayed alert, watching him, waiting for the moment he would demand something. Wait for the trap. Days turned into nights, and she began to move with the wooden legs. Slowly, carefully, she stumbled often, cursed at herself, and even screamed at him in frustration. But he never got angry. He never gave up. He would watch her silently. Then he would say, "Try again. You are stronger than you think." Stronger? She laughed bitterly. Stronger than what? Stronger than her clan, who left her to die. Stronger than death itself? She could not understand. But with each small step, she felt something inside shift. something that made her chest lighter, her mind sharper, her body less broken. One night, as the fire crackled, she looked at him. He was watching her, not with judgment, not with expectation, but with patience. "Why are you helping me?" she asked quietly, almost afraid to hear the answer. He shrugged. "Because you need help. Because you're not alone." She blinked. That was all. No trap, no trick, no reward. She wanted to believe him, but her past screamed otherwise. She had never been saved without reason. Not by anyone. Not by family. Not by friends. Yet here he was, a human, a stranger, and he was saving her. Something had changed, and she did not know whether to trust it or fear it. But one thing was certain. The girl who had lain broken in the mud was slowly learning to stand again. And the human who saved her was teaching her something her clan never could. Hope. The orc girl woke to the smell of smoke and warm bread. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Her body ached, but the pain was different now. Not just agony, but proof she was alive. The wooden legs beneath her trembled as she tried to stand, but she managed. Slowly, carefully she took a step. The human was already awake. He smiled, quietly, as if he had been waiting to see her rise. "Good," he said simply. She growled, frustrated. "It's nothing." But he didn't argue. He only nodded, like he already knew. Weeks passed. Each day was harder than the last. She fell many times, cursed, even screamed, but each time he encouraged her. Every step made her stronger. Every failure taught her patience. Her stumps hardened, her arms became stronger, her balance sharper. She started to fight again, not with power, but with strategy. She could not run fast. She could not jump, but she learned to move differently, to predict, to dodge, to use her weight. Her wooden legs were tools now, extensions of her body. One evening, the sound of snapping twigs broke the silence. The human froze. His hand went to the hilt of a small sword. She felt it first before she saw them. Figures moving silently between the trees, shadows approaching the hut. Bandits. The girl's heart raced. Her first thought, run, hide, survive. Her old instincts screamed at her. Vik Alksti. She was no longer weak, but she wasn't fast. She wasn't fully healed. And yet, something inside her had changed. The human stepped forward. "Stay behind me," he said. She shook her head. Her instincts, her honor, her past, all screamed at her. She cannot hide. She cannot watch someone protect her. The bandits entered the clearing. Their eyes glinted under the moonlight. Some laughed, thinking the hut an easy target. She gripped a fallen branch. Not much a weapon, but enough. The human looked at her. "You can do this," he said. She felt her chest tighten. The words were simple, but they struck something in her. Not fear, not hope, power. The first bandit lunged. She dodged, awkward but effective, using her wooden legs to shift weight and balance. She swung the branch. It connected. The bandit stumbled back, shocked. The human moved beside her, faster than she expected. They worked together, not perfectly, not smoothly, but in sync. The bandits were numerous, but their coordination was weak. She used her knowledge, her intelligence, her instinct. Each step on the wooden legs was careful, precise. Every move counted. She felt her old self, the orc warrior she once was, mixing with something new. A thought she had never had. I fight not just to survive, but to protect. They pushed the bandits back. One tried to strike her from behind. She fell, but caught herself with her arms. Her wooden legs shook, but she rose. Pain shot through her stumps, but she ignored it. Focus, she reminded herself. Focus. Finally, the bandits fled into the darkness. The forest swallowed them. Silence returned. The girl's chest heaved. Her arms trembled. Her legs trembled. But she was standing. Alive. The human placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did well." She looked at him. Not with gratitude. Not with weakness. With recognition. She could fight. She could survive. She could protect. And she understood something new. Something that scared her more than any bandit. She belonged. For the first time, she realized she was not alone. Not weak. Not useless. Not forgotten. The fire crackled. The shadows danced on the walls. And for the first time, She dared to smile. But even in that moment of triumph, doubt lingered. Her clan had left her. Her people would not understand. And the human, why did he care? Why did he stay? Questions crowded her mind, but the answers didn't matter now. Not yet. Right now, she could feel something stronger than pain, stronger than fear, stronger than anger. Strength. Her body hurt. Her legs ached. Her arms burned. But she had survived. She had fought. She had defended someone else, not herself. That fact alone changed something deep inside her. Later, as she sat by the fire, her legs wrapped in cloth, the human spoke softly. "You are ready," he said. She looked at him puzzled. Ready for what? He didn't answer directly, only smiled. Quiet, calm, eyes filled with something she couldn't name. Trust? Respect? She wasn't sure, but she felt it like a weight lifting off her chest. That night, as the wind rattled the hut and rain tapped against the roof, the orc girl understood something important. She was no longer the broken girl in the mud. She was a fighter. She was a survivor. And perhaps she was something even more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The change had begun, and no one, neither her clan nor the bandits, would ever see her the same way again. The next morning, the forest was quiet. Too quiet. The orc girl sat by the fire, wooden legs crossed awkwardly, still aching from the fight the night before. The human was outside, checking the perimeter, listening for danger. She watched him from the doorway. He was calm, focused, moving with a confidence she had never seen before. Something about him made her feel safe. And that feeling was strange, dangerous, but she couldn't let herself think too much about it. A sudden noise snapped her attention. Twigs breaking under heavy footsteps. She froze. At first, she thought it was bandits returning for revenge. Her heart beat fast. She tightened her grip on the small wooden sword she had fashioned in the past days. But the footsteps were different. Steady, familiar. And then she saw them. Her clan. They emerged from the trees, their faces twisted with disbelief, fear, and anger. Their leader, a massive orc with scarred arms and cruel eyes, stepped forward. "She's alive?" he growled, almost in disbelief. The girl's eyes narrowed. She rose to her full height on her wooden legs. Not perfectly balanced, but tall enough to stand her ground. Her chest heaved with a mix of anger and triumph. "I am," she said. Her voice was stronger than it had ever been. Stronger than she thought it could be. The clan looked around at the small hut, at the faint smoke curling from the chimney, and finally at the human. Their eyes widened. Shock, confusion, rage. "A human made you survive?" The leader spat. "You weakling, you allowed yourself to be saved by a human." She took a step forward. The wooden legs creaked but held her weight. She gritted her teeth. "I survived because someone helped me. Not because I was weak. Not because I begged. I survived because I learned to stand again. To fight again. And I could defend myself." The clan murmured among themselves. Some sneered. Some looked uncertain. They had expected to find her broken. Useless. Dead. And instead, here she stood. The human stepped beside her. Silent. Strong. Calm. He did not raise his weapon. He did not attack. But his presence alone changed the air. Her clan hesitated. "You were supposed to die," the leader said, his voice low and dangerous. "We left you because the weak have no place in this world." She laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. "Weak? Do you see me now? I'm not weak. I'm stronger than you will ever understand." One of the younger orcs charged. She stepped forward, wooden legs steady, and blocked him with her makeshift weapon. The human moved beside her, watching her, supporting her without touching. They were a team. The fight was quick. The young orc stumbled back. Others hesitated. The girl's confidence, her strategy, her unpredictability. They had never seen this before. She was no longer the girl they left in the mud. She was a warrior reborn. Finally, the leader stepped forward again. "You belong to no one now," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "Not to us. Not to your kind." She looked at him. Her eyes were fierce. "I belong to no one who left me to die. I belong to myself. And to him." She gestured at the human. The clan laughed at first. "A human? A human made you strong? Pathetic." But the girl ignored their laughter. She felt something new, power and choice. She could fight, she could protect, she could decide who mattered. And she chose the human who saved her, who taught her to stand, who never asked for anything in return. The leader growled, "You are betraying your blood, your kind." She stepped closer. Her wooden legs creaked but held. "No, I'm not betraying my blood. I am rewriting what it means to survive. You left me to die. He gave me life. That makes him stronger than any of you." The tension was thick. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Every orc in the clan could see it now. The girl had changed. She was no longer prey. She was no longer weak. She was a force they could not easily break. Without another word, the clan retreated. Disbelief and shame on their faces. Their leader paused one last time. "This is not over," he muttered. But even he knew, deep down, the girl had won today. She turned to the human. He didn't smile. He only nodded, quietly proud. "You've changed," he said. "I have," she admitted. Her chest still heaved from adrenaline, but she felt different. She felt alive in a way she never had before. "But I don't know what comes next." He extended his hand. "We learned together." For the first time in her life, she didn't doubt. For the first time, she didn't question. The fight, the pain, the fear, it had all led to this. She had found something stronger than survival. Something that her clan could never take away. Trust, respect, belonging. The orc girl took his hand, her wooden legs steady beneath her, and together they stepped out of the hut. The forest was quiet again, but now it felt alive. Full of possibilities. Full of danger, yes, but also full of freedom. She was no longer the orc they had left behind. She was something new, something stronger, and no one, not even her own clan, could ever take that away. The forest was quiet, but it did not feel empty. Every shadow seemed alive, every rustle in the leaves a warning. The orc girl stood beside the human, her wooden legs planted firmly in the soft soil. Her chest heaved from the past battles, but her eyes were steady, cold and focused. Her old clan had returned. This time they came in full force, armed, angry, and full of hate. The leader, the massive orc with scarred arms, stepped forward, glaring. "You are ours," he growled. "Weak orcs have no place in the wild without their clan. You will come back with us." She laughed, a harsh, bitter sound that carried across the clearing. "I am not weak. I never belonged to you." Her voice rang strong, steady, filled with the confidence she had earned through pain, struggle, and survival. The human did not step forward. He stood slightly behind her, calm, silent, a shadow of quiet power. His presence alone made the clan hesitate. Orcs were proud. They fought with strength. But humans, he was different. Clever, strong, unpredictable. And he was hers. The clan advanced. Their weapons glinted in the sunlight, breaking through the trees. But this time, the orc girl did not hesitate. She gripped her wooden sword tightly. Her legs creaked under pressure, but they did not fail her. She had trained. She had survived. She had changed. The first orc lunged. She dodged, rolling to the side, using her balance and instinct. Her wooden legs held strong. She swung the sword, hitting the attacker's arm. He staggered back, shocked. This girl, this broken girl they left in the mud, was now a warrior reborn. The human moved beside her, not to fight for her, but to fight with her. Together, they were a single force. They moved in silence, anticipating each other's actions without words. A second orc charged, and she sidestepped while he intercepted from behind. A third fell to the ground, surprised by her agility. Her clan's confidence wavered. They had expected a broken girl, helpless and weak. Instead, she was strong, calculated, dangerous, and she had something they could never understand: strategy, trust, and willpower. The leader roared in fury and charged. She met him in the middle of the clearing. He swung his axe, heavy and fast. She ducked, twisted, and kicked with her wooden legs, enough to destabilize him. He stumbled. Not enough to kill him, but enough to shock him. "You left me to die," she yelled. "You thought I was weak. You thought I'd stay broken." The leader snarled, raising his axe again. She gritted her teeth. Her wooden legs burned with pain. Her arms shook, but she stood tall. not just standing defiant. The human stepped closer, blade ready. "She is not alone," he said, his voice low, calm, final. The leader froze. For a moment, he saw something he had never seen in his life. An orc who had been left for dead, standing taller than fear itself, with a human beside her, both unbroken and unafraid. The battle was quick after that. Orcs charged, hesitated, and then retreated. One by one, they fell back. The girl's calculated strikes, the human's strategic moves, and the sheer shock of her newfound power overwhelmed them. The leader, panting and furious, stepped back. "This is not over," he spat. But even he knew, deep down, he could not break her. She was beyond their understanding, beyond their control. The orc girl looked at him once, her green eyes sharp, her jaw set. "It is over," she said. "For me, for now, it is over." She turned to the human. Their eyes met. No words were needed. Together, they had survived. Together, they had defeated her past. Together, they had rewritten what it meant to be strong. She felt the pain in her legs, the burn in her arms, the ache in her body, but she also felt freedom. She was no longer the girl left to die in the mud. She was a warrior, a survivor, someone who could stand against the world. The human extended his hand. She took it, not as a victim, not as someone saved, but as an equal. The wind whispered through the trees. The sun broke through the clouds. Birds began to chirp in the distance. The forest was alive again. And so was she. Her old clan would talk. They would whisper about her in shame, disbelief, and fear. But she did not care. Their opinion no longer mattered. She looked at the human once more. "Thank you," she said quietly. He shook his head. "You did this. I only helped you see it." For the first time in her life, she understood the truth. Strength was not about brute force alone. It was about choice, trust, courage, and resilience. It was about standing up when the world expected you to fall. It was about fighting not only to survive, but to protect, to belong, and to live fully. She had been abandoned, broken, left to die. But now, she had life. She had strength. She had someone who believed in her. And that was more powerful than any clan, any weapon, any battle. She smiled. Not the timid, fearful smile of the past. Not the broken smile of the girl left in the mud. But a strong, fierce, victorious smile. Her clan had left her for dead. But a human had given her a reason to live. And she would never forget it. She was not weak. She was not lost. She was reborn. And together, they walked out of the forest, side by side, ready for whatever the world might throw at them next.